Hey guys, Dan here with Pain For You. If you're new to these videos, you can find out more on my Facebook group, Pain For You. You can go to YouTube, search for Pain For You channel. And if you want a primer on what I'm talking about as far as the mind-body reason for pain or other symptoms, go to painforyou.com, watch the video there. Anyway, today's topic is knowledge the cure? And Sarno really believed that knowledge was a huge component of getting better. So is knowledge the cure? I'll say it is a big part of it. The primary reason is because there's kind of like this lever. The more you know about TMS, the more you're going to be able to see that it's what's going on with you. And the more you realize that you have this thing called TMS, this mind-body syndrome, this psychophysiologic disorder, these chronic pains caused by too much stress. Once you realize what is going on and that is exactly what causes the vast majority of chronic pains and symptoms, and you realize that you've got it, that's what's going on in your world, guess what happens to the fear? The fear goes away if we don't catastrophize the pain and get too worked up over it. So if you know somebody who's coming down with pain for the first time, the first thing you want to tell them is that, hey, stress often is the cause of it, and to get them looking in that direction right away before they get medicalized. So is knowledge truly the cure to getting better? Well, there are some people who read a book by Dr. Sarno and their pain went away. But inevitably, pain comes back, either in the same location or somewhere different. That's called the symptom imperative. And I believe that's true, and that happens because they really haven't done anything to change what's going on at the core, which is not resolving emotions. So Dr. Sarno talked about repressed emotions being at the root cause of this. These emotions that are deep in our subconscious or unconscious mind that we are not aware of. And when they burst, or when they threaten to burst into consciousness, we can get these symptoms as a means to distract us. So in some cases, why do people get a book cure? They read a book and they're better. Wow, that's awesome. Well, that can happen when the fear disappears completely because they're no longer afraid that their body is injured. But inevitably something else happens, so they get neck pain or shoulder pain or hip pain or something going on. And if they catch it and they're smart, they'll realize, oh, that's the same process starting over somewhere else. But in many cases, this symptom imperative that shows up somewhere else starts us off down that wormhole all over again. So there is a lever. On one end is knowledge, the other end is fear. The more knowledge you get, right, the less fear there is, which is great. And so that's why knowledge is a huge component of what I teach. Now look, people have said I've read 6 of the TMS books. Which one should I read next? Look, if you already truly understand what a stress-induced illness is, or stress-caused pain, or what TMS is, this mind-body syndrome, this, if you already understand that truly, and you've done an assessment to say, yep, this is absolutely without a doubt what's going on with me, hopefully your fear is already low, unless you've replaced the fear of the pain with a fear of your inability to do the work properly, right? That's a whole nother animal, which is why I spend so much time on the mindset side of this equation. Look, the process, the emotional discovery work, while it is challenging because we've been running away from these emotions for so darn long, there's a lot of resistance there. The concept is not that complicated to grasp. Your goal is to learn to feel these emotions which your brain is trying to protect you from. So it's not difficult to understand what the purpose of that is. It's a lot more challenging to do it because, again, we've grown up being taught that certain emotions are not cool, they're not acceptable, they're scary, they're even dangerous, which is why your brain says, he or she can't deal with those emotions, so let's distract him or her. And so the process is pretty straightforward. The knowledge is easy to attain. Read the book, watch a couple videos. The assessment, a little bit trickier, because sometimes, you know, some of these pains or symptoms appear to be, I guess, real, if you will. And sometimes doctors can tell us they're real. These are real problems. You've got this, this, or that, this medical label or that medical label. And so it's very easy to get misled by the mainstream medical world into believing that, okay, TMS does not apply to me. I'm just really screwed because I got something physical, but yet the doctors can't fix it. So look, knowledge and assessment, if you truly believe you've got TMS or this mind-body syndrome, and you truly understand it, my encouragement to you is let the fear go. Because essentially, when you know what TMS is and you know you've got it, there's nothing wrong with your body. So there's nothing really to fear. And by allowing that fear to dissipate, you can now just focus on the next two parts, which is pick a process to do this emotional discovery work so you can teach your brain that these emotions are in fact safe and you don't need protection from them any longer. You don't need the distraction. And then you get your mindset right. Well, what do I mean by that? You know, mindset incorporates a lot of things, but primarily it's like, stop freaking out over your symptoms. Realize that they're just the byproduct of this mind-body process at work, this distraction mechanism at work. And if you truly realize that's what's going on, you can stop freaking out about it. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's massively uncomfortable, but you're not broken. And that's the cool part. So, other mindset things are belief, choice, decision. You know, put your focus on things you want. I'm going to kind of incorporate the neuroplasticity and the brain science into the mindset stuff, because it really is important. I mean, our brain wires the things that we put most of our mental and emotional energy towards all day long. So if you're constantly fearing and focusing and trying to fix your pain all day long, your brain's going, got it, that's important, let's keep it wired. So I'm going to say that the neuroplasticity side of this stuff is all part of the mindset. Awareness is something I talk about all the time. It's so important to be aware of where your thoughts are going. We believe the things we think and say to ourselves most often. So if you're walking around saying, I'm going to be that one person who can't get better, you're going to be, because your brain actually believes it, and it's going to throw up roadblocks at every turn to make sure that the thing that you say the most is true. And so, is knowledge the cure? I will absolutely say it is a critical component of the cure. You can't get better unless you understand what's going on in the first place. You can't get better until you've done the assessment and figured out that, yeah, that's what's going on with me. So knowledge and the assessment, critical components. You can't get better without it. I don't believe you can get by with not doing an emotional discovery. I think understanding that this unconscious or unresolved emotions, which is a little bit different, emotions that we're not really allowing to be felt and released normally, or emotions that we're clinging to, these resentments and grudges that we're holding on to and won't let go. These are what I call unresolved emotions. I think it goes beyond just what is automatically repressed outside of our awareness. It's also those things that we choose consciously not to allow. You know, I'm feeling this way, but I shouldn't, so I'm going to shove that emotion aside. And that often happens when we have certain emotions about the people that we care about. You know, you may have certain negative emotions about your spouse or about your kids or about your parents. And there's a lot of guilt there and shame there that, oh my God, I'm such a horrible person because right now I hate my spouse or my kids or my parents. And I'm such an awful person. I can't allow myself to feel that. So out of mind, we push it. And understand that that's normal. You know, if you're living with somebody all the time, there are things about that can become infuriating. Little things, big things, little things said, huge things said. I mean, it's normal to feel these things. We don't have to hate on them. We don't have to scream at them. We don't have to lash out at them to get better. But just give yourself permission to feel those things in the privacy of your head. You know, you don't have to share all this dark stuff with the people that you love, but don't walk around feeling guilty about it and just lock that stuff up in the basement of the subconscious and not allow yourself to ever feel it. Because honestly, it's that conflict between I really feel this way, but I shouldn't, so I'm not gonna. It's that conflict that really creates a lot of the turmoil here, because you've got all these pent up, bottled up emotions that are completely unacceptable. And that emotional energy's got to go somewhere, and unfortunately it goes into our bodies and results in all sorts of changes and symptoms and pains, and it really happens that simply. So, is knowledge the cure? I will say again, it's a critical component of it. But knowledge alone is not enough. You've got to do the emotional discovery. You've got to teach yourself that these pains and symptoms are, these emotions are not dangerous. Also learn that the pain and the symptoms are also not dangerous. There's no tissue damage going on there. And then lastly, get the mindset right. I keep on repeating these 4 key components here: knowledge, assessment, process, mindset. That is about as simple as I can make it. So knowledge is a starting point. If you've read 3 books, you may not need to read a 4th one. If you're looking for another process that you're not sure of how to get to, do this emotional discovery work, go to YouTube, search for Pain For You channel, and use a magnifying glass to search for TMS processes reviewed. And I give you about a dozen of them. There's all sorts of ways to feel your emotions. All of them work. You don't have to do it just one way, and if you don't do it that one way perfectly, you're not going to get better. The process is messy. It's you can mess it up. Just keep on taking forward steps, little baby steps each day. So, and then get your mindset right. The mindset, in my opinion, is as big as the other 3 components are. And if you've got self-sabotaging thoughts running through your head all day, that jerk roommate in your head that's just telling you all the reasons why this isn't going to work and why you're not good enough, become aware, listen for that internal voice. And when it's leading you astray, decide to shift your thoughts from that negative chatter in your head to something more useful. Gratitude, things that you're doing right. I don't know. There's lots of ways of shifting. So again, is knowledge the cure? Not by itself, but it is a critical component. So if you've never read a book by Dr. Sarno or Steve Ozanich or Nicole Sachs or Dr. Howard Schubner or Dr. David Clark or any of these guys, read one, at least one. Understand exactly what's going on. If you want a quick primer, go to painforyou.com. I have a video there that explains exactly what it is. I still think it's worth reading some Sarno books. If you got back pain, read Healing Back Pain. If you've got some other symptoms, read The Mind-Body Prescription. Those are great books. And it gives you that core foundation of knowledge that will really help you drop your fear. Because again, TMS and this mind-body syndrome tends to feed on the fear. The more fear you've got about your symptoms, the more likely they are to hold on. So if you can do the assessment and the knowledge to really turn down the volume on the fear levels, it's going to be that much easier for you to get better. And if you can turn down the volume on the fear of the emotions by realizing that they're normal and they're safe and they just make you human, that'll allow this process work of the emotional discovery to be that much easier. So turn down the fear, increase your knowledge, know that you're safe in your body, know that you're safe with your emotions, get the mindset dialed in, and it's not as tough as you think. But knowledge, yes, it is part of the cure, but it's not the entire cure. So don't think you can just keep on reading book and do nothing else and get better. You want the knowledge, but it's not the only thing. So hopefully this helps. And I guess this topic is really more about knowledge and fear, because they're both kind of counterbalancing to each other. Anyway, let me know what you thought. Comment below. Share this video widely if you think other people can benefit by it. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.